off, so that's good. Bill and I went to see James Van Prague at the Celebrity Theater on Saturday night. He brought the house down as usual. He did some amazing work, and then we got to spend a little time with him backstage and had a really nice, I guess we're getting cameras adjusted here. Had a really, had a really nice evening doing that, and I want to remind you that please tell all your friends and share on your Facebooks that James and I are going to be together again in November at the Mauna Lucia, which is going to be really great, and I'm really looking forward to it because watching him work, his style of doing medium work and my style of doing medium work is so very, very similar in so many ways.
Absolutely. And there was a couple things that he did that were very exciting. He explained a little bit about mediumship work to a lot of folks who've never seen it or understood it. I'd say probably 20% of the house were folks who've seen mediumship work or understood what it is. But by the time they left that evening, they understood the value and the importance of listening to and working with mediums on questions along that they had. And I just found that just a whole lot of fun. And he also stayed a little extra and really did some very fine things for folks.
Yeah, it's makes me a little sad though when you're in a big venue like that and there's like 500 or 600 people. There are so many people who want to be read. There was this little girl that was sitting in front of us. And I say little girl, she was a young woman, I'm going to say, somewhere in her mid-20s to mid-30s. You can't tell age. And she, was clutching a stuffed animal, and he picked up on a woman that passed away, but it presented to him at first like a child, and she was very anxious because she lost a young child. He had started out by saying 3 years old, and I'll tell you what, you guys, I couldn't just let her sit there because it wasn't her child. And so, I kind of leaned into her and said, call my office and I'll give you a free appointment. I end up doing that a lot, but I think one of the things that I decided to do was to continue to do small venues, like Storm Wisdom and like the office here, even though I'm doing some of those national things and getting on, the stage and with 350 or 400 people in front of me, I still want to maintain that level of trying to make personal connections with people because it's really hard. It's so important, and it's really. I think that's the hard part is when you're watching the audience with bated breath, hoping that it's them that he or any one of us connects to. So I made that decision to continue to do some small groups throughout the year like I have been, because usually in those small groups I can get to more than half.
Oh yeah, I've seen you do 30 inside of 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks that have never seen this type of thing before, only they're going to be ghost stories. But when they sit and understand that these are stories of heart, and being able to reach across that veil and understand that there are loved ones that are still there with you. And it's refreshing, it's beautiful, it's wonderful. There's so many folks that had different things too that at the event. We saw a lot of pictures that people had. They had watches and jewelry and locks of hair from those. So there's a lot of that type of activity. What do you call that?
Psychometry.
Psychometry.
When you're holding an object. Well, the photographs are different because the object really needs to be metal. Metal is a conduit to energy, so it helps you tap into somebody's energy field if you're holding a watch or a ring or something like that.
Well, also speaking of you and James together, you're going to be together before November, June 13th on, I believe, Hay House Radio. It's on our Facebook page. It's on the website.
Hay House Radio. That should be a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. Get to the web page, find out how to get logged in, or go to the Facebook page and like it and log in. And, Melinda and James are going to be on the radio together, and it's going to be an exciting time.
And the night before James and I do our night of readings, I'm going to introduce my book at Changing Hands Bookstore. So that'll be the first time that book will be presented is that weekend. So that's exciting too.
Oh, yeah. You want to tell any teasers about that?
Not a word. No, but I will tell everybody that this guy asked me to marry him, and we're going to get married on August 19th. Yep, we're going to do it again.
I caught her in a moment of weakness, and she said yes.
Oh my goodness, am I too old to be a bride or what? My kids were a little shocked. Your kids were a little shocked. Everybody was a little shocked, but that's okay. That's it's good for their hearts to be shocked by their parents still. So tonight is our evening of readings, and if you want a reading tonight, you need to call 602 875-0444 and ask a question. But I have a couple of questions in front of me. One is a question about a house for sale in Scottsdale in the 85254 market, which is a wonderfully nice neighborhood. And she says her house has been on the market for over 90 days. Is there something I should be doing different for it to sell? I have moved out so that it is vacant. Other homes in the same area and the same comps are selling. Will it sell? Well, I know that you and I talked about this when you were in, and one of the things that you had told me was that there was some special touches that you had put in and some special, kind of decor even, with paint and that kind of thing. And we've been actually looking for houses down here in the Tempe area, and people can't look past sometimes paint and that kind of thing. So I don't know if you've considered repainting it and freshening up the paint or something like that. I know that that's a hassle, but that is, usually what people have a difficult time looking past is paint. And I'm glad you moved out, because a lot of times people have a difficult time looking past other people's stuff and decor. Yes, it will sell. I think you might want to knock the price down just a little tiny bit to get into a different section of the MLS, because that feels like it's a good neighborhood, and so that feels like that's a good one. But yeah, I see it selling. I wish I could say I see it selling tomorrow, but I actually see it selling maybe feels like the closing, it feels like it's all done by September. So I'm going to say here in the next month or two it'll sell. There may be someone that comes back after going somewhere else and then coming back. Maybe a buyer that's already been there once and then comes back. But even if you don't change some of the special things that you've got there, I do think it will sell. So I'm just going to say that it's not selling as fast as you'd like, and I'm sorry. It feels like everything is a done deal by the mid-September range. So hang in there. Summertime is a hard time to sell a house, and I get that. So, but hang in there, okay?
I have a question about that. You talk a lot about energy and how you can attach to something. Does that have anything to do with maintaining a house like that?
We actually talked about that. This angel and I talked about whether her energy was attached to the house. She was on her way to go get a St. Joseph. They say that if you get a St. Joseph and bury it upside down in your backyard, that it's a good movement of energy. So she was on her way to do that. I just know that she's very artistic in her nature and creative, and the way she dresses, even the glasses she wears, like she's always gorgeous and sophisticated, but she may have put some touches on that, Joe Schmo doesn't always get that stuff. They really don't. If you watch, HGTV, people walk in and go, oh, the paint, and that kind of stuff. And so,
well, that's why God made Sherwin-Williams, isn't it?
Even today we took a couple of our grown kids with us into the house, and one of our kids was like, oh, I don't like that faux wallpaper on the staircase. And we were like saying, well, look at this space, and we can have an office and a studio and guest room, and and I'm insisting on having a house with a swimming pool so that I can still be the coolest grandma there is to Elliot, because we swim with him every week. But no, I know it's going to sell, and we talked about your energy, whether it was attached to it or not, and so on. So I think one of the things that I do have to say about you energetically is, though, that you've been under such stress and such pressure with all that you've been dealing with your parents and your job and all these things, that a lot of times that doesn't create a flow of energy either. So every once in a while you ought to go over there with a smudge stick and clear out some energy too. So, but you might look at something maybe that you might have to paint. I'm getting the word paint. Sorry. So do we have somebody on the line? I heard the phone ring, or? Okay, very good. I gotta push this phone in. Wait. Okay. Very good. Okay.
Thank you, Cheryl. Hold on just a moment.
Do. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Cheryl. This is Melinda. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What's up, kid?
Good. Well, I just wanted to know if I could get maybe a general reading, more so towards financial.
The first word that came to me, Cheryl, was the word stuck. Have you been stuck somewhere?
You stuck as in what sense? As like financially?
Yeah. Has there been some stickiness? I guess I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, because the first word that I got, honey, was stuck, and then I see stickiness, meaning that it seems like you get a little bit ahead and then something happens and then you don't. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Like it's kind of like a putt-putt car, like it's just putting along. It's not like you're destitute, you're really broke, you're really dire or anything, but it's just not making, it just feels like it's not making the movement that you desire. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you know what, Cheryl, you have really lovely energy.
Oh, from me?
Yeah, you kid, you got really great energy.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I think, love. Okay. I think, first of all, money is nothing more than the flow of energy in the universe. And what happens, and it's happened to me in my life, it's happened in his life, what happens with money is when we do have some of that sticky stuff, we start to get nervous, worried, and agitated, and it prevents the flow even more. And so then we're like preventing the flow even more. And so then we're stuck even more, okay? With someone like you who has such really good energy, it's unusual for you to have stickiness, is it not?
I find it a little unusual. Usually it's good.
Yeah, usually you flow is what I'm getting. Usually you have a flow of abundance. That's what I'm getting. But this time it's just this little stickiness or something that you're doing with money, or some kind of something that didn't come through, or something that kind of is a loophole of some kind is what it feels like to me. Got you a little bit nervous, but it feels like it swings back and you're back into the flow here. I'm going to say, like right away, like it doesn't even feel like you're waiting a long time for the flow. Did you put some money somewhere and then have to do something else with it?
No, I'm just trying to get out of the situation and kind of try to move maybe back to where I come from, which is New Jersey.
Mm-hmm. But did you put some money in and you're trying to get back out of it, sweetheart? Is that what it is?
Oh, well, actually, yeah. Now that you say that, I put some money into my mom's place, and she's moving, and she's giving it to me.
Okay.
So we put a new bathroom in, and a kitchen is going in.
Okay.
So in that sense, yeah.
Okay, so I see you putting something in and then getting back out of it, and then some movement of energy coming here. And there's something with a 4 number in it. I don't know, it's 4,000, 40,000. I don't know what that number is. Does it resonate with you at all at this moment in time?
No.
Okay,
no,
will you
not
watch?
Yet.
Will you watch for that number then? Something with a 4. There's either it's time or money. I don't know whether Spirit's saying time or money on the 4. Okay, and so you want to get back to New Jersey.
If that's a good idea, yeah.
And
I'd like to have a house again, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that.
No, you will. You will. Okay, you definitely will. Where are you now?
In Pennsylvania.
Okay, so here's what Spirit wrote. PHIL. That's what they write Philadelphia whenever they want to tell me Pennsylvania. They always just give me a big, and I don't know if you can see it, darling, but it says PHIL. They're just telling me, they always give me a city and a state for me to know what state. So that's why they said Philadelphia.
Okay.
And where in New Jersey do you want to be?
Well, it's Union County is the county where I come from. The town is Cranford, Clark area.
Okay. Oh, I don't see a problem with the flow of that, sweetheart. It's just a matter of taking steps. It feels like there's going to be taking steps. I think you're going to gradually get where you want, but you're just taking steps to get there. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Do you know who Chris is, Cheryl?
Chris? Not offhand.
Okay. Chris, if I say
my son's friend.
Okay. Do you know who Michael is, Cheryl?
Michael is my son.
Okay. So is Chris Michael's son?
Friend.
I mean, friend. I meant friend. I'm sorry, honey. I'm like, woo.
It's okay.
You see, I got my hair done last night. I'm very blonde today. Yeah. Okay. So I'm in Michael's energy field. So Michael's moving with.
Michael. I'm sorry. Michael. What?
Would move with you?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
But how old is he?
He will be 21 in August.
So I get a yes and then I get a no. So I think he'll move in with you, but then he'll move out on his own.
Okay, well, that's not bad.
Okay, that's what I think. Okay, all right. And okay. I think, and there's one more name I'm getting: a Mary, a Marion, a Marie, a Marilyn.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That feels like that's around your mom, since we were talking about your mom's house.
Yeah, and Marilyn. Not sure about that.
All right, so it's a Marilyn, a Marianne, a Mary, or Marie. You ask your mom. And what's your mom's name, darling?
Dolores.
How old is she?
She's 83.
She's got it going on, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah. She's still. She has her wits, and she's something else.
She got it going on. I really like your mother. Yeah, you're going to have good genetics from mom, okay?
That's good.
Has she had any problems, though, with one of her knees or her feet?
No.
Okay, who's had the knee-foot problem?
Sort of me and, sort of, kind of both of us, my boyfriend.
Okay, sort of you and sort of your boyfriend. What is your boyfriend?
Yeah.
What is your boyfriend's name?
Tom.
I think I'm picking up on you because I was in your mom's energy field. I think I'm picking up on you. Okay. All right. So what is it? Just ache from time to time? What am I getting on that? Why is that? Why did I get that?
Well, I joined the gym and I've been working out and I'm losing weight, but I kind of hurt my knee a little bit. But that's the other thing is my foot. I have sometimes it just hurts me, the heel part.
All right, so knee, foot. You know what? I think you should keep working out, and that feels really, really good to me. I think you're trying to transform some things in your life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think you're going to. I think you're going to get there. I think you're going to get unstuck money-wise. I think you're going to take steps to get back to New Jersey. I think that mom is going to be on the planet for a while. She's pretty awesome. I think Michael will move with you, but then leave again. Like he'll do his own thing.
Okay, well that's good.
Okay, one more question. Go ahead, Joe. 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 Do you know who Joe? Joseph? Jody? Joe?
Yes.
Who's that, please?
That is my husband, who's deceased.
Okay.
Husband, he died.
He wants to say hello, and that he is Mike's father.
No.
Okay, so he's not Mike's father. Who's Mike's father?
Drew.
Okay. Drew's still on the planet.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Who had the alcohol issue?
Well, Drew a little bit. He was a little bad for a while.
Okay.
He's a little annoying for a while with that.
You did a better job picking this time, didn't you, kid?
Yeah, definitely.
Feel good about this one. Joe says hello, okay?
Definitely.
Joe says hello to you, and I think Drew is actually improving in his life, okay?
Oh, wow. Is Joe always around? I haven't heard from him in a while.
Surprise! It always happens when you're talking to a medium. Somebody comes out and goes, hello, I still think of you. I'm good. No, I think he has some, all joking aside, Cheryl, I think he has some regrets where you're concerned and that he'd like to make an amends to you from the other side. So I think he'll pop in and say hello. But it's interesting because I saw him around Michael, too. And I find that interesting because he's not Michael's father. Why is he around Michael's son? Just Was he the first?
I don't know.
Was he before Drew or after Drew?
Oh, yeah, I was young. I didn't have any children with him.
Yeah, okay. Well,
so,
I think he actually is around your energy field and even your son's because he needed to make some amends from when you were young. Does that make sense?
Maybe. I just don't understand why he would be around my kids or, that's kind of odd, but.
Well, I think sometimes when we're on the other side, sweetheart, we look at people and say, that could have been me. I could have been that person if I hadn't been such an immature little brat. And, I'm going to throw some positive energy towards this family because this was kind of the one that got away. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? All right?
Yeah.
Okay, but what's your dad's name?
Jack, or John. His name is John, but we called him Jack.
And he's over, correct?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Jack, too, is in your energy field and gives you support. You do get support from the other side, Cheryl. So when you're thinking about where you're going and what steps you're taking, know that you've got that flow of energy around you, okay?
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Great.
Okay, so you're looking for a couple things that you don't know. One is a Marion, Marilyn, Mary or Marie. One is something with a 40 or a $4,000, something with a 4 thing in it. Joe is saying hello, and he likes your kid Michael. I like your kid Michael. You've got other kids, but, your kid Michael's kind of a pip, isn't he?
Yeah. He's funny.
Yeah,
he's humorous.
He's the one that, attracts, people that, kind of smile at him. So he's got a pretty magnetic energy, okay?
Okay. All right. Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He does.
Yeah. All right, sweetheart. Well,
that's great. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And congratulations on your wedding.
Oh, thank you. I surprised him by announcing it. He didn't expect me to announce it tonight. So thank you, darling.
Okay. Congratulations to both.
Thank you, darling. Keep us posted on your move and everything. We'll hold space for you, okay?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Cheryl. Bye-bye.
Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye. Okay, so we have, a message from Maria, and I think, I don't know, Maria, if you saw the workshop that I did with my son, who has suffered from clinical depression pretty severely in the last year to 18 months, although I think he's had some ups and downs on depression. And if you haven't seen that, go into the archives and look at it, because from a person's point of view who has suffered from depression, my son gives advice on how to work with somebody that has depression and lift it. And that's Maria's question, Angels, is do you have any advice for lifting this depression I'm having? Well, first of all, if it's circumstantial depression, it can turn into clinical depression if you don't treat it. So what I mean by that is you have a garage door in your brain that releases the serotonin and the chemicals that you need to stay even. Everybody has blue days or sad days or days in which they're upset. But when it's chronic and you're in fight or flight for a long time, a lot of times your garage door will get stuck. And so if your garage door gets stuck and you don't have any, oil for it, you can turn from a circumstantial depression to a clinical depression, which may mean that you need something either herbally or medically for the depression. So that's something that you have to evaluate. So there are, I have naturopaths here. I'm friends with Dr. Emil Faith, and by the way, he's going to have a book signing at Changing Hands Bookstore tomorrow night, and I'll be there to introduce him, so please come by. Got a new book out that's fabulous. So I'm really into holistic stuff, but there's twice in my life that I have actually gone to the doctors and said to the doctors, I need an antidepressant. Once was when my mom had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and we were putting her in the nursing home at the same time that my daughter was getting married. So stress is stress, regardless of whether it's positive stress or it's negative stress. It still affects the body the same way. So I went to my doctor and said I needed something. He put me on a Zoloft. That lasted about a year, and then I went off. And then the second time I put myself on something was when my husband got diagnosed with temporal frontal lobe dementia. And then I went to the doctor and again got on something. It was a Vibrid. and was on that for about a year and then got off of it. You don't just jump on and jump off those things. You have to wind down. So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself is, do I need something herbally? Do I need something, medically? Do I need to do that? That's one. Two, and you have to ask yourself, do I need to talk to somebody? Do I need to go to counseling? Do I need a life coach? Do I need to, share my thoughts? Okay, so those are two things. For self-care, and I know you, Maria, so I know you're good on self-care. I know you're a healer yourself. I know you do massage therapy. I know you're a teacher. I know you know these things. But I'm just going to remind you, for self-care, that journaling feelings out is extremely important and significant. Pushing yourself, and I'm not talking about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, because when you're depressed, that's a very hard thing to do. But there are times that if you can push yourself to go out amongst friends or be with people. One of the things that my son shared with us was that his friends were extremely important to him during the course of him working through his depression, and that he would sometimes push himself to meet friends, or they would come to him. So your tribe, your friendship base is very important. Family is very important. So I don't know if you've shared your depression with your family, or you've talked to somebody from your family, but if you can share with your sister or someone that can, be a good sounding board for you. McKinnon shared with us that time spent with his animal, his dog, was helpful during his depression. He shared with us that he wanted to be touched, he wanted hugs and that kind of thing. Other holistic things, of course, are massage and, self-care in that way, and doing that. But most important, evaluate whether you need medication or something herbally, and whether it's time to go see to somebody and talk and, try to sort out your feelings. Journal them down so that you're not harboring them inside of you. Meditate, pray, work with your soul and your source. Continue to try to get in touch with friends, that kind of thing, and that will help with depression. Do you have any comment on that? McKinnon's sitting here. He's answering the phone for us tonight. Do you have anything to add, McKinnon, to that? Did that cover it? Is that what you said?
There's one thing I would like to add to that too, is that, letting folks know that they can reach out, with a text or something, just to let you know that you're in their thoughts.
Don't forget there's always hotlines.
Oh, thank you. McKinnon just said, don't forget there's always hotlines if it gets really bad.
Text hotline now. Text somebody.
There is even a text hotline now. And so what Bill's saying is, have your friends text you once in a while, check in with you, let you know that they're there for you. I'm here for you. You know that always. So you've been coming, you and I have known each other for a long time, and you've come around a little bit, and then I don't see you for a couple of years, and then you come around a little bit. You were the person that gave me some of the most interesting advice that I ever had. And that was when I moved to Sedona in 2001 and couldn't stand it there, hated it there, and moved back before I was even there for a year. And you came to see me right after that. And you said to me, well, it's no wonder you couldn't stand it there. It's all built on Indian burial grounds, and the vibration made you go crazy. So I have never forgotten that Maria told me that, because I've always joked it's the land of fruit and nuts anyway. But it was very important information. So you're a healer, Maria. Don't forget that you have pearls of wisdom that you give to people, and that people want you in their lives to be a part of it and to talk to them too. So sometimes when we're helping other people, it helps lift us out of depression. We kind of forced McKinnon to help us in certain ways, and actually it did start to make a difference in his life. So okay, so call me if you need me. Okay, who's on the line, McKinnon?
Okay, Debbie, hold on. Mm-hmm.
Where am I? This one. Hi, Debbie. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you, happy kids?
We're good. Yeah. I'll be about a week. You know what, Debbie? I will be 9 days shy of my 63rd birthday.
You go.
You know, that's for everybody to think, wow, there's life after 50, 55, 60.
See, and you give me hope.
That's right. That's right. Somebody else said that to us the other night. Oh, yeah. We ran into Suzanne Wilson when we were with James Van Prague, and she said that. Well, you give people hope with that, so that's nice, Deb. See, you're a medium.
I said, well, by golly, if she can do it, so can I.
There you go. So, what can we do for you tonight, my friend?
Well, we may as well stay on the topic of relationships.
Okay.
What can you tell me about mine right now?
Up and down is the word I'm getting.
Okay, that's true.
Okay. Feels like there's ups and downs. It feels like maybe a little mixed messages. Are you getting mixed messages?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I think, Bill, why do men give mixed messages?
Fear.
Okay. Now here we're getting it from a male point of view now. Ready? Okay. So men give mixed messages because of fear. Now women always say that, well, he's just afraid. But there is a movie and a thing that he's just not into you. So which is it? Like, are men afraid or are they just not into you? Because that's a really important question, isn't it, Deb, that women want to know?
Well, it can be both.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes fellas say, well, I don't want to hurt her feelings, so I'll stick around. I'm not really into her. It's just I don't want to hurt her feelings. And then there's the fear factor is like, well, if I really commit to this, then I'm in it. And then what? And that's where the fear comes in is, then what? I'm with her. And when you have that fear at that level of commitment, then you can't commit. And that's one of the areas that I guess that's, when I talk about that fear factor and the not wanting to commit because you're afraid that, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, what if I'm not really there in my mind and heart anymore? Then what do I do? And finding a way to be able to get rid of that fear is the big part. And having that comfort level of knowing that she's always going to love you and be there for you. That is when you begin to allay that fear. Does that make sense?
Do you feel like he is afraid or just not that into you? Is he a recycle? Have you been with him before?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you know him? Did you know him before?
The fear definitely makes sense to me because of his past and the way he's been hurt before.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand his fear, but yet he's the first one to say I love you. He's the first one to make plans. This is what, not that I don't want it, don't get me wrong, but he was the first one to approach everything.
Okay.
And that's where I can understand where his fear comes from, because he's already said things, we've made plans, we have things going on, and he might be maybe second guessing it, or maybe he's worried that I won't be there for the long run. I'm not really sure what it is.
Okay, let me try to evaluate when I look at him. What's his name, Deb?
Billy. Yes, I have a Bill also.
Okay. Let me look and see what I'm getting, Deb.
Okay.
Well, Deb, why did I originally get up and down? Because when I tap into Bill, it feels like he's actually pretty into you. Why am I getting the up and down? Am I getting the up and down energy from you?
It might be.
Okay, are you giving him mixed messages?
I don't think so.
Where am I getting the mixed message thing from? Is he told you these things and then stepped back?
The ups and downs and the mixed messages are the way we communicate. If I say something that he doesn't understand or he'll take it a different way, we're still in that communication kind of little bit of a gap, and we've had our little ups and downs with that.
Okay.
And that is our main success.
Okay, so that's where I'm getting the up and down, the mixed messages. It must have something to do with bills, because this bill has communication, a communication style that I had to adjust to also. And that's the word. That's the operative word, is adjustment. Sometimes you have to adjust to somebody's communication style, but be clear with them. Like, I don't understand what you're saying, or could you clarify that for me? Or, you know, if you're like me, what the hell are you talking about, Bill? Is what I say to him often. What the hell are you talking about, Bill? Speak English to me. I don't get it. So you make sure that if you don't, that you clear it up. You know, make sure you clear it up. Because when I tap into him, I think he's moving forward with you. I think there's a level of performance anxiety with men that I'm going to say that once they get involved, they don't know if they can perpetuate the nature of being the kind of man that a smart woman who has some self-empowerment wants to be with. And you've been through a lot, so I don't think he wants to hurt you. So I think he may have what I'm going to call performance anxiety about, you know, being able to stay in the connection, but I think he wants to.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, you hit that on the head.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. That's what I'm getting when I tap into him by name. Do you know who Richard or Rick or Dick is? Richard, Rick, or Dick?
Not offhand.
Okay. And do you know why I'm getting cars around your Billy? Is he a big car guy?
He was just showing me some cars tonight on when I was over there.
Okay, very good. So, and do you know who Mark is? Mark.
I know a couple of Marks.
Did you have a Mark that's on the other side?
No.
Do you have a Mark that has somebody important to him on the other side? This is some kind of a connection to somebody on the other side.
I will have to find out.
Okay, think about it. Okay, all right. And how are you doing with your situation with your family?
I've moved past it. I've made peace with. I've made peace with the fact that I am not a part of that family anymore, and I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I've made peace with they have to do what they need to do to feel good about themselves, but I don't have to be a part of it.
Okay,
I'm not in any contact or anything.
Good. Okay, well, you feel pretty happy with me. You feel pretty happy to me, Deb. So I think just keep moving forward and letting go of some of that toxic relationship. I think you just need to ask Bill to. I think you have to. I'm not going to say force the communication, but you know, there are ways that I kind of force us to communicate because, you know, in my past, I would let that communication issue get under my skin in a way that made me passive aggressive, because that's my tendency, is to be passive aggressive. And so now I'm just aggressive and ask him, what are you talking about? So that we can just like hash out whatever we're getting. I think you need to, with your bill, say, okay, wait a minute, I'm not clear about what you're saying, so let's talk about it again. Like, I think that's what you need to do.
Can I give you an example that seems to come up all the time?
Absolutely.
If I say, or if I make a suggestion or something, or I say something, he takes it as a negative reflection on himself. And he says, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I'm just a, you know, and yada yada. And he goes on this, and I was like, no, you're not hearing what I did not say any of that. All I said was, I can't even give you like because that's how tiny it is. If I say something innocent and he takes it negative, but he puts it on himself. I don't know how to make him realize that that's not what that was at all. I keep reassuring him that's not what it was. Mm-hmm. And I try to be a little more clear when I say things. I think before I speak now, which that's not me, but it's working. Mm-hmm. I just don't know how to turn that part of it around for him. Okay,
there's something called SET communication. It stands for sympathy, empathy, truth. So people who speak in defensiveness, usually have been pretty beat up in their lives in some form or fashion. It's the same as braggarts. Okay, people who brag are insecure. People who are in defense are insecure. It's both sides of that duality coin, right? And so it usually means that the inner child is speaking. And it usually means, something has been wounding to the individual that's talking that way. And by the way, it does confirm to me what I'm feeling, that he has continued performance anxiety about being good enough. So you use sympathy, empathy, truth. I'm sorry that you feel that way. It must be terrible to always hear things that make you feel badly about yourself. But that is not what I'm saying. I'll try again and then repeat yourself.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to understand that that men are much different than we are as women. Women, their brains roll in a different rhythm than men's, and men's brains compartmentalize. And so a woman's brain will kind of roll into things. A man's brain will freeze in a compartment like, oh my God, I can't tell her that. What if I tell her that because she's going to be upset with me? And he'll shut up. He'll shut up or he'll get defensive instead of sharing his feelings. Okay? Remember this, all men are raised by women. Okay, so all men have an innate fear of their spouse or their significant other because they were raised by a woman.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to do my best, and everything seems very real and very true, and he seems so familiar to me. It's like, as we're moving along, there's so many similarities between, and I don't like to make the comparison, but it's crazy. And I noticed it the week that Karen was on the show, and she said her significant other is a lot like she would picture her middle child to be.
Mm-hmm.
I never picked up on any of the similarities because when we've been friends for a while, but we would go months without talking, just because our lives went different directions, and I'm just picking up on so many similarities and so many. Maybe that's the familiar feeling.
Okay, but that's a vibrational frequency, sweetie. That's very, very important. Okay, so, Karen was saying that she felt safe with this man who really caught her at a very vulnerable time. And you notice that Karen said that he said to her, I don't even know what to say, which was appropriate for him, right? And so that familiarity energy made her feel safe with him. So that's great, okay? And the issue is when we meet each other at a plane of familiarity, a vibrational frequency, we meet each other at that plane both in the positive and the negative, again, the duality of the planet. So all of, the things that are positive about a parent or a son or whoever, that is a reflection of the person you're with. Some of the annoying factors or some of the other factors are also in there. So you really have to look at your karmic profile. So remember, Deb, that my karmic profile, if you were dating me, for example, okay, and my karmic profile was that, remember I told you that my mother was aloof, that she didn't feel warm or loving to me, and that I always felt like I was seeking love. So if you were dating me, Deb, and you decided to go sleep on the couch or to not engage with me, that would trigger my inner child to feel abandoned, hurt, wounded, and cause me to close down. You got to figure out what's triggering him out by asking the right questions and using your set communication so that you don't trigger him out. He needs to figure that out for you as well.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. I wasn't sure if it was like, it's such a familiar feeling. It just feels like I've known him forever, like beyond forever. And it's just that kind of thing. It's that kind of feeling. And I wasn't sure where it was coming from.
We get it.
But that makes sense.
We get it. Usually means you're with the right person. But, another example is that, Bill's mother, not his mother that passed away, but his stepmother. Remember, his mother passed away when he was 5, and his stepmother got saddled with 4 kids that she didn't want, and she wasn't very warm or loving either. And if she'd punish him, and sometimes inappropriately, what she would do to make up for it was she would feed him. So oftentimes Bill's language of love is food. Well, for a chubby girl, that's a little hard to take. So we're constantly in a battle of food with each other. Like, we had a nice lunch today, and he sat down and said, "What? Let's go here for dinner after the show." And I'm like, "No, So, those are just little tiny examples, but things that I just want you to watch and be aware of, So that's his language of love. And so I reject him constantly about food because I'm always trying to keep, so some size that's reasonable. And so a lot of times he can get his feelings hurt about that. And we have to work through that kind of stuff. So those are the little things that happen with couples. Okay.
Right. Okay.
All right. All right, Deb. I think he's the one.
Oh.
I think you just have to work through the communication. I don't like getting the mixed message up and down stuff. You got to work through that, or it could be a problem. So work through it, okay?
I will. We will.
All right. Have a good night, honey. You're welcome. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
It's kind of funny when you talk about the communication thing, and then there's also the clash of cultures. You're from New York, and you talk at 1,000 miles an hour, and I'm from Texas, and the words are slow to form and to come out of my mouth. And for you to get used to that form of communication from me has been a bit trying on your patience.
Well, I have a patience of a gnat.
That's an exaggeration. Gnats are so much more patient.
The male-female relationship, or the couple relationship, if you're in a gay relationship, it doesn't have to be male to female. It can be female to female or male to male, because even in gay relationships, one partner has more feminine energy, one partner has more masculine energy. And even in our relationship, sometimes I have more masculine energy and you have more feminine energy, even though you're a macho man and I'm a very feminine fingernail girl. And it's also something that you have to watch with people, because that's male energy, that impatience. Like, come on, get it, cough it up, say what you got to say. I'm busy. I got to get moving here. That's not just New York. That's male energy. And since I, for a large part of my life, took care of my families, I have a lot of male energy, because that's the only way you can do it, is that to-do energy. So, sometimes there's some of that. And you're right. When people's roots are planted in the same soil, they can often have a better connection. One of the things that I have always prayed for with finding the right partner is someone that, if they weren't Catholic, would be good to be at the Franciscan Renewal Center, because as you know, I love that place. It's got my heart. And can I tell a little story on you?
Uh-oh.
So I took him to the Franciscan Renewal Center, and it's, Franciscan Catholics are way different than Roman Catholics. So it's a very laid back, very open church. There's beautiful music, and the priests are not priests. They're actually brothers. They're Franciscan brothers. And, they make a lot of jokes when they're talking, and it's just a really great place. It's got a great vibrational frequency, and he liked it. And oftentimes we meet friends there. And, some friends meet us later for breakfast. Some friends come to church with us. We kind of all go to church. And so we're meeting some friends there, and I had made reservations for church. And I go outside, and I'm waiting for Bill, and I can't find him, and my friend is there. And I said to him, "Well, Reese, I got reservations. Go grab the table. I don't know where he is." And he came out after everybody from communion and said that he had gone up to the priest and asked for a blessing, but he wanted to be respectful and wait till everybody had communion. And I thought, wow, this is the man of my dreams. He went up to a priest and asked for a blessing. But, that was pretty awesome. To me, that was like a sign that you were, like, okay. So that's my story on it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, they used a whole bowl of holy water.
Oh, they did not. Good Lord. Well, you guys, we have changed up our format just a little bit, and because even when I have guests on, the guests find 90 minutes to be, quite a long time. You guys know I can talk on and on for hours, but not everybody can do that. So we've changed our format to an hour, and we've reduced the cost involved. And so I want you to watch for your credit card, making sure that your payment structure has been put where it needs to be, because
$9.95.
Yeah, we don't want to have any mistakes on that. We want to make sure that's done properly. And there's when you're inputting data and stuff, there can be errors and so on. So make sure that you do let us know, and then tell your friends and that we're doing this now for an hour at $9.95. There, we appreciate all of you guys that have hung in there with us as we've been tweaking it and figuring it out what we're doing and so on. And we do this in the center here at the Empowered Living Center, but one of the things that we're going to do is make sure we have a nice studio in our house, and I think that'll be better for the night of readings and some things like that, because we kind of have to reset up some things when we're here, so I think that's going to be a good
that's going to be a lot better. And I want to circle back to something that you were talking about with the lady from New Jersey. About, and you're talking a little bit about abundance in life and how all that works, and you're part of a group that's going to be speaking in October to that particular in Sedona.
Oh, October 7th. Really some fabulous ladies, and we got Heather Cluett, who's a shaman from Sedona, who happens to be probably the brightest spiritual person that I know, really. Just an amazing lady. She's going to be our hostess. And then you guys know Courtney Long. She was the beautiful with the blue eyes, and oh God, she's so gorgeous. You look in her eyes and you can see that energy. Amazing. And she's our angel person, and she's going to be talking about what money with abundance, right?
Oh, she's talking about your divine inheritance. These are the things that are yours. All you have to do is just claim it. It's there. And she'll go through the methodology and how to put yourself in a position to understand and how to claim. And then we have Deborah Stangl, who's...
Now, she's a former attorney who's
Yes.
now a spiritual person that does something very interesting in Sedona, yeah?
Yeah, she does Sedona Soul Adventures.
Yeah. I
And-
had a client that came to see me
Yeah.
who went on a Sedona Soul Adventure and didn't know I was going to do this work with Deborah Stangl, and told me how fabulous it was. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of millennial couples go to see her. They go out on the land. And then also Deborah works with different organizations and groups and refers folks out. So she is going to be a very powerful speaker. And, her description of things, once again, are how nothing is wrong. It's only if you assign it that emotion of wrong. And I think you've talked about that before, is that everything here is neutral. It's what you assign it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what she is also going to be addressing as well.
And then last but not least, we have a fabulous, beautiful, lovely lady, Melanie Shreenan, who is a doctor of psychology. Dr. Melanie Shreenan, correct?
Oh, yes, she is a clinical psychologist. And also what she has done is she studied with Dr. Joe Dispenza. She is one of 2 PhDs in the world that are authorized to teach folks in the Joe Dispenza method. And also she is an aficionado of Greg Braden's and approved by Greg to teach what he teaches. And she's the only one.
And she's
So
coming
this
all the
is
way
special.
from Colorado to spend that weekend in Sedona with us. So, that's amazing. So Courtney and I will be coming from Phoenix, as I hope all of you will. We have special rates for hotels and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 of the gals, Heather and Deb, live in Sedona, and then Melanie's coming from Colorado, and this is going to be a really impactful, insightful, wonderful weekend. I will, of course, be teaching on Friday night about how to tap into the abundance of spiritual energy. But while I'm doing that, I'm certainly going to be giving readings, because I can't help it, because the dead people talk to me. So I don't ever neglect that. So that's going to be great. And then we're going to have those breakout workshops the following days, and it's going to be awesome. So it's at the Sedona Creative Life Center. Is
And
that what it's called?
October
Or
is just
Creative Living Center?
a Sedona Creative Life Center.
Life Center.
In October, early October, it is absolutely gorgeous up there. The leaves are just finished turning, so it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time of year just to be there as a tourist. So show up a couple days early, enjoy the scenery, and then come have your mind filled with abundance.
Yeah, just because Maria told me it was built on Indian burial grounds doesn't mean a few days will hurt you. It's just if you live there, it drives you crazy.
Yes, I'm from there.
I know. So, speaking of Maria, I just want to get back to her once again because her question was something that, I just want you to know again that we're all here for you. If you need us here at the center, if you need to talk to somebody, McKinnon would be happy to talk to you. You can, give a phone number. He'll call you and tell you about some of his journey and what he's done to try to get himself back on track. He's still working on it, and I think it's a step-by-step, day-by-day process. Would you agree, son? So, but make sure that you are absolutely taking good care of yourself. And Jocelyn, that house is going to sell. I think you just need to sage it a little bit. I think you need to maybe see if there's something that you have to tweak decoratively so that, because people might not get you. So that's our show for tonight. It seems like it went by really quickly because it's only an hour. And I've got 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, according to this, I have 3. Okay. So I don't know. What else do we want to say before we close tonight?
We'll be announcing our guest for next week.
We are?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a good one?
Oh, yes.
We do?
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm excited about it.
And it'll be in the Angel Grand. It will be a lot of fun.
Okay. And don't forget to come out tomorrow night to Changing Hand Bookstores here in Tempe to see Dr. Emil Faith and to get one of his books and have him personally sign it. It is a book about sensitive people, and Dr. Faith makes a lot of sense when he talks about sensitive people and sensitivities. And we just love Emil Faith and his wife, Susan, who is also a medium and does Reiki. I was at a workshop of theirs, and after he does a little reading on you, you go back on a table and have Susan work on you. And I got off the table and thought I was going to fall down because the energy was so amazing as she moved energy through my body. So they're pretty awesome people.
Absolutely. And very practical, very down to earth, and he explains things in such a way as you get it. And being a medical intuitive the way that he is he takes time to make absolutely certain you understand the words that he is describing to you.
I'm picking up on a dog. Does someone have a dog, maybe a medium-sized dog that's been sick or having some health issues? I'm picking up on somebody's dog, and maybe it's maybe a 45-pound dog, and has it's probably a terrier of some kind because I see kind of wiry hair. And it feels like the dog is having allergies and is allergic to the food that you're giving. So whoever has been worried about their dog and is part of our angel group, and I've described their dog, I think you need to change the dog food. So we're in Cottonwood, and there was a store for pets in Cottonwood, and we found
medical marijuana?
It's not exactly medical marijuana because it's a
THC oil.
It's a THC oil. It's supposed to help dogs with digestion or diabetes or that kind of thing. And our grand dog, we thought had some of that, so we brought some home to try on her, and I think it's been helping her. But I think you can get it on the internet too. But someone told me about a doggy psychic. I can't remember who told me that. I wanted to get the person on the show. I've got to try to remember who told me that, because I'd like to get that person on the show, because I think that's interesting. I think people love to talk to people who can talk to animals.
Well, there was a dog that showed up on stage with James.
There was. James is hilarious. we all love our dogs. Dog spelled backwards is God.
And believe me, our little dog Sasha really pushes that point.
Yeah, she's actually the devil, but that's okay. Anyways, guys, whoever has that dog, if you want to just email me or send me a picture, I'll look better and see what I'm seeing. Because you haven't called in and you might just get it on the archives. Okay, thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and thanks everybody for calling in with your questions, and we'll talk to you next week with our special guest. Have a nice night. Night, Billy.
Good night.